So, you know the movie Brewster's Millions, right?
I do, of course. Yes, that's a classic,
right?
Classic movie
with Richard Pryor.
Of course.
I never thought that None of the Above would be a real thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Didn't that just happen?
I know where you're going with this.
Where am I going with it?
Well, Nikki Haley lost to None of the Above.
To None of the Above.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So Richard Pryor knew all along that this was going to happen.
Yes, exactly. Well, here's the thing. When you lose to None of the Above, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
Not at all.
And now, for your listening pleasure, here's Pulizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. This old marketing. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And you really do need to be a business professional to enjoy this. All right. Anyway, I'm Robert Rose, and welcome to episode number 414 for Friday, February 9th, 2024. And with me, as always, as he always is, my friend, my colleague, and, well, the guy who was the backup plan who would have announced Taylor Swift's new album had she not won the Grammy, Mr. Joe Pulizzi.
We got a new background.
Hey, how about that? Hey, how about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Who's this Taylor Swift person you're talking about?
I know. She's really come out of nowhere, really, to sort of take over the world.
I've been seeing a lot of things lately comparing Taylor Swift now to Michael Jackson back in the day.
I think
is that bigger. A fair comparison?
No, I think she's bigger.
You think she's bigger than Michael Jackson Thriller?
She's already sold. Not already. I mean, she's been around for some time. 200 million albums. 200 million.
200 billion.
Yeah, I mean,
trillion.
Come on. So, I mean, I don't know what. I'm sure Michael Jackson's Thriller is hanging around that number, if not more than that, but it's also had 20, 30 years to do that, where Taylor's albums have really taken off over the last 10.
Yeah, I know. The sales, I think, are. I'm almost thinking about just this moment in time of popularity, because when I think back and the Thriller video, remember when the Thriller video was going to be?
I watched the debut. I sat. I ran home. Yeah. I ran home from school to watch it. Yep.
Everybody watched it. It was such a big deal. There was nobody bigger. And the reason why I think that was better is because we didn't have the distraction of mobile 24/7 content news at the time. It was just an event. That was the event. Not saying that what's going on with Taylor Swift is so unimaginable that it would happen like this again. But it seems to me that time, and maybe I'm just nostalgic about it, but it seems because there was there's nothing else going on. That was it for that whole week, running up for that week, and then Thriller, and everyone knew about it.
Yeah, it was. Well, and interestingly, if you'll remember, the album had been out for some time. The album had been out for quite a while before.
Well, yeah, because you already had Billie Jean, and you already had Beat It. So was and then it was already, it was number one on the charts forever and ever and ever. And then Thriller was the Thriller video. And that's when videos were, I mean, like the new release of somebody's video was a huge deal.
Huge thing. They would have the video debut party. We would have pizza, and we would, so MTV was on 24/7 in my little place at college, right? So, which for those of you who are counting at home would have been the 1985, ish, through, era, 85, 86. So it was absolutely 84 was when I first started. And the fall of 84 was when I first started at college. But basically it was MTV was 24/7, 365 on in my little rooms that I shared with some other students, and we watched that. We watched MTV, and wrestling. Those are the two. Hulk Hogan, and the whole thing. And then they mashed together, which was like, that was the most amazing thing ever.
Well, when they had the whole Cyndi Lauper thing,
Lauper
and that was
Captain Lou Albano and Hulk Hogan. And I mean, it was like, for us, that was like the thing, right?
I think we have to now. Do we have a younger audience? Because if we do, we have to apologize to them right now.
I think,
is it all Gen Xers that we?
Well,
that we
no,
have
I don't think it's
listening
all
to
Gen Xers. There's I think we have a lot of millennials. I don't know that we have any Gen Z. I don't know we have any Gen Z.
No Zoomers in the audience.
No.
If you're a Zoomer, would you? I don't know how would they communicate with us?
They can give us a review. That would be great. That would be awesome.
We definitely need some Zoomer reviews.
That's right.
Is what we would like.
You could say that we're sus, or that we have the Riz. Have you know that? Did you know this? Right? If you got the Riz, I think both of us have the Riz.
I don't know. I know. I've been learning about slaps.
Yes,
that's slaps. I'm like, slaps is good. Slaps is good. It's like, that slaps. I'm like,
now we're becoming. Everybody.
I just figured out about.
They just jumped the shark.
Oh man, it's we try. I try.
Yeah.
I got two Generation Z's. So
yeah,
I do the best. I do the best I can. I know we've got a fast moving show ahead of us, but I do have to say, and I mentioned it on the last episode, is that you and I will be doing a live episode of This Old Marketing on May 5th.
That's the rumor.
It's absolutely happening. It's for sure now. Our own friends at HubSpot have made this possible. So on May 5th, you and I will be doing it. We're going to have a guest. We're not going to announce the guest yet.
Oh,
probably because we're still working.
I don't even know. So that's how.
Well, you're going to be there, and I'm going to be there. So it's going to be in Cleveland on May 5th, and I want all of our listeners to be there. So if you would like to join us, go to cex.events and then use the TOM, capital TOM. That stands for This Old Marketing. Get an extra $100 off. So come and see us live. And so we can actually talk to you and thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
So I know I threw that. I didn't tell you I was going to do this.
No, that's a curveball. Yeah. I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you? We want our tried and true listeners to be at CEX and we'd like to see you.
That's absolutely the case. That's absolutely the case. Well, I can't wait. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
All right, what do we got? We got
a good show.
Today?
Yeah, we got a good show. We're going to introduce a new segment, but we're going to start with our big story, of course, and talk about the news. Joe Rogan got a new deal in podcasting, and what does that mean for the end, perhaps, of exclusivity? Then we'll get to the rest of the news, and we'll talk about Meta a bit, because Meta, well, they're not only now going to label AI images, well, they may also, they may be blocking some access for some groups, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of changes going on with Facebook and Meta at the moment. And then we'll get to our new segment, which we're calling Hits and Misses, where we'll call out somebody who's winning in marketing and somebody who's losing in marketing this week. We've got an example of those kinds of things. And each week we might have one hit, one miss. We might have two hits, no misses. We might have two misses, no hits. It doesn't matter. You'll find out, actually. And then, of course,
big miss.
Yeah, one big miss. Yes.
This whole show is one big miss.
That is correct. That is correct. And then, of course, we'll get to our classic Rants and Raves, where Joe and I will go off on a little bit of a rant. And Joe, this week, well, he's going to be talking about, what are you talking about this week?
Billy Joel.
What are you ranting about? Oh,
Billy Joel.
That's right.
And it's not a rant.
That's right.
It's a warm, loving commentary about my favorite artist of all time.
All right. Well, I am going to rant a little bit about what B2B, because this time of year always brings up big ideas and the Super Bowl and everything that's going to be happening over the coming weekend. And it just reminds me each and every year about how we're not doing big ideas anymore in marketing. And so I'm going to rant a little bit about that. So yeah, big show, big.
Can we do Super Bowl predictions? As we record this on the 8th for the 9th. So this is before the Super Bowl. We know we have no insider knowledge about what's going to happen.
Yep.
Do you want to give a prediction and a score? And we'll
I
see
think
how
the
close
NFL is. I think the NFL is rigged, and I think Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will walk out in the middle of the field and endorse Joe Biden. No,
my question is Joe Biden in the middle of the two of them and they're holding hands together, or is it sort of they walk out single file? That's what I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that I think they're holding hands. I think and maybe singing Kumbaya.
That's a bunch of malarkey. No, here's my prediction. My prediction is, I say this more because I kind of want it more than I kind of think it.
Because you hate San Francisco.
I really, really do.
Okay.
And so but I don't love.
You don't like Mahomes or
no,
San Francisco.
not really. I'm gonna say Chiefs, and I'm gonna say 35-31.
Wow.
Chiefs win.
That's pretty close to mine, because I should have wrote it down so you knew I wasn't copying. I believe that there is a conspiracy in the Chiefs, and the NFL want the Chiefs to win. They want to show Taylor at the end of this thing. I think that it's Kansas City 37, San Francisco 34.
There you go. Yeah.
So basically, we're in
similar
thing.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah, I would take, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was a betting man, I would bet the over.
For sure.
Lots of points scored. The defense is going to be non-existent for a while.
I think that's true. I think that's true. I think both offenses will do well. I like, I don't know. 49ers defense is good. It really is. It's a really good defense. That linebacker group is just amazing. So, but I don't know.
They're not great.
Detroit here's the honest truth. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm actually, I'm hoping for a good game, and I'm going to be disappointed in whichever team wins because whatever. But AFC for this year only because then an NFC team didn't win it. So here you go.
If San Francisco is going to win this, it's going to have to be rolling out Montana and a pass to Clark in the end zone. So
thank you very much.
I'm visualizing this correctly. I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
I wasn't planning on saying that.
Thank you for that.
I got nothing. See, I don't have any of those. We haven't even been in the Super Bowl. Cleveland Browns.
Thank you for that. That was an NFC Championship game, but nonetheless,
that's so much different.
All right.
Okay.
Should we get to our top story here?
Yes, we should.
Okay, let's get to it. This is our big story. Big story of the week is the Joe Rogan experience is going to get more experienced. Basically, the headline coming to us courtesy of the Morning Brew, which really brings a marketing slant to this whole thing. And we have both Joe and I have thoughts about this. The Joe Rogan experience won't be exclusive to Spotify anymore. And the article opens up, there's a bunch of mainstream media really reporting this, but we wanted to have a marketing slant on this. If you didn't have a Spotify subscription, says the news story, well, you used to have to rely on your loudest cousin to recap the episodes of the Joe Rogan experience. That's just I don't know. It's just the leads these days, the kids with their leads. Anyway,
they're computers anyways.
The streamer renewed its deal with its wonderful big star for 250 million simoleons, according to the Wall Street Journal. And there was one big change. It will no longer, that's the Joe Rogan experience, will no longer be exclusive to Spotify. That means last year's most popular podcast on Spotify will also now be available on Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. Joe Rogan isn't the only host to break out of Spotify's audio box. Alex Cooper, host of the platform's second most popular podcast, Call Her Daddy, not even going to go there, just signed a new deal that allows her show to stream on other platforms too. Spotify is ready to start sharing. Spotify is scrapping its exclusivity model to garner a wider audience for shows and snag more ad revenue. This is ironic considering union leaders for Gimlet and Parcast blame the platform's exclusivity model for starving its podcast of audience growth when the company conducted layoffs in 2022. Bottom line, they've got a history of hemorrhaging cash, but CFO Paul Vogel is expected the business to break even this year. So what say you? Good deal, bad deal? Did he deserve it? What's going on?
I think it shows us the revenue model for podcasts right now. The growth area is advertising. It's not about getting more subscribers on the network. Spotify realizes this. It's so funny how many amazing shows Spotify's killed because they took them in. They went exclusive to the Spotify channel. Now they're no more. The whole thing just seems silly. And then they realize, oh my God, the ad model works. Netflix has showed us that it works. Amazon's going that direction, which I really hate, by the way, that Amazon's going to this model with their Prime Video. And Spotify's going this direction as well. They believe that they can get, because Rogan will get a much wider audience on all these other platforms. They can monetize that, take the percentage of revenue, and it works out much better than just saying, oh, we're going to get subscribers because Rogan's exclusive on Spotify. So the whole subscription gateway scenario, theory, philosophy, strategy, if you will, sort of out the window right now, and has been for the past 12 months. We're going toward this ad model that, and everyone's got money for ads these days. So, because the economy's good, it's really, I'm surprised. I didn't see this happening. I thought the exclusivity model was something that was just going to be a long-term strategy. But right now, I mean, not that it doesn't work, but there's way more opportunities for Spotify outside of that than just saying it's exclusive to Spotify.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I disagree only slightly.
Okay.
Which is, I think this was the plan all along.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I
take it in and get as many subscribers as you can.
Correct.
And then say
correct. Basically,
so another conspiracy
milk that
theory.
cow for as long as it. Yeah, basically so what they're, what the hypothesis is with going subscription is you're making people change a habit, right? So in other words, if you want Joe Rogan, you can only get it on Spotify. Therefore, you're going to start listening to all your podcasts on Spotify and subscribe. Obviously, is the hope there that you'll pay for a subscription and you'll subscribe to Spotify as your exclusive provider of podcasts. And then, of course, that line flattens out over time, right? It has to. There's only a certain percentage of your audience that you're going to get, and then it's basically moving the needle from 0 to 60 is relatively straightforward, and then moving it from 60 to 61 to 62 to 63 is going to be years, right? So that line flattens out, that curve flattens out over time. So that's where you make your bet, right? You make your bet with Rogan to say, we're going to bring you in exclusive. We're going to pay you a lot of money to be exclusive. And at some point, that line, we know that curve is going to flatten. And when it does, we'll widen you back out again, and we'll start, we'll basically then, and they can do that. They can't do it again with Rogan, obviously. Once you do it, you're sort of done. But now they could do it with another big artist, right? They could bring him in, make him exclusive for a little bit, get more people of that audience in, and then, of course, widen it out and make the money. Because now where I agree with you 100% is that the revenue is in advertising. And we've seen that as a trend really for the last, I don't know, 24 months or so, is that sponsorship and advertising is back. And
podcast is a line item now, which
right.
Hadn't happened 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was still a new technology, if you will, even though it was over 20 years old.
That's right. And so it's a place to do brand advertising and very targeted to specific audiences. And there are elements of programmatic now being inserted into podcasts that make it, a little more even, sort of algorithmically driven in some cases for ad insertion. But more and more, this is a going concern is in terms of a medium, the number of people who are listening. And Rogan's a big reason for that. He's not the only reason for that. There's articles that have been talking about how he invented the medium. It's like, no, he didn't invent the medium. He just basically took advantage of the medium and really captured a zeitgeist, for a big audience. But I think this is a big, he deserves it. I hate his show. I think he's a clown, but he definitely deserves it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with all the topics, but I think he's brilliant and incredibly smart. And he's a great interviewer. He absolutely is. And that's when I think of Howard Stern too. Just an amazing interview. One of the best interviewers of all time, Howard Stern. If you don't like anything he's ever done.
I don't know that I'd say Rogan is a great interviewer. I don't think he's a great interviewer. I don't know. I've listened to a few interviews. Now, I'm not an aficionado. I have not listened to that line. I don't know. I find his interview, he's just long. It's just so long, right? His shows are long.
So let's say that you're right. What's the incentive for anybody to do an exclusive deal anymore? I don't think they just bring them over. Why don't they just say, no, okay, go with this. Why not just do the sponsor deal? Just say, we want your ads. We want to run your ads. Spotify's got this great network of advertisers that they can plug them in. We'll do the whole thing for you. We'll manage the whole thing. And you keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to do the whole move to exclusive to non-exclusive.
Well, that's going to be
ads.
I think that's on a deal by deal basis. I 100%
That's
agree
what
with
I think but that's what I think happens. I think it's a network deal, kind of like what we're on a network deal. It's the same type of thing. It's like,
Sure.
okay, we'll bring them together instead of this whole back and forth thing. Maybe the days of that Joe Rogan deal and the other ones you talked about are just a blip in time and they don't happen anymore.
I think they will. I think my prediction is that they will happen, and we'll start to see. They'll become, they're rarer because they have to be, right? In other words, you have to be of a certain size before this makes sense. In other words,
Yeah.
you have to be, and by the way, you probably have to have a certain audience type, right? One that is prone to being more loyal to the show than they are whatever player that they use for their other podcast. So it will take a very specific type of artist or creator for that deal to make sense. But I do predict that if there is somebody who breaks out like a Joe, I mean, our friend Tom Webster said this very well, that one of the biggest problems with Rogan is the fact that he's so popular that he's such an outlier. The number 2 is so far below. I mean, he's doing something on the order of, I think the numbers I saw were 190 million downloads a month. I mean, that's just
well, podcasting in general really follows the long tail.
Right.
I mean, you've got 100 podcasts that are 98% or whatever. It's really
That's right.
nuts. And then you've got all these little ones, and us included.
Yeah.
But even when you look in marketing, like you'll say, okay, we're a bigger one in marketing, and then you've got all. So I guess it depends on the industry that you're looking at. It's interesting to me that podcasts have gone mainstream now from an advertising spend perspective, because you and I have even had conversations that we've never had before, just because, oh, hey, podcast get so many downloads. Look at CP, whatever it is. But Smartless just did the deal with Amazon, but that's not that's not exclusive,
right?
They wanted the ads.
That's right.
So yeah, I don't think that's a deal like Rogan.
It's sponsoring the artist, right? I mean, this is a classic distribution deal, right? I mean, it's basically this is much more of a classic way that media deals are done, where you basically own the artist, not the artist and the show. And so the deal will be that they're getting. Because let's also not forget that part of this deal is a rev share. It's a revenue share with Rogan and Spotify, right? So he's got great incentive to make his platform work on other platforms, right? So
sure.
So to promote other things, to make YouTube work, to make Apple Podcasts work, to make other things work, so that he increases the revenue overall. And then there's a percentage of that that's given him back to him as part of this deal. So the deal is worth $250 million, but it's not like he's getting a check for that guaranteed, right? So there is, as I understand the deal, there is some guaranteed money, but it's going to be incumbent on him now to make this thing work, which is part and parcel with what you have to do in this kind of situation to make a deal like this work, whether it's a television show, whether it's a film, whether it's, a radio show, whether it's a podcast. If you're going to do this kind of a distribution deal where you own the content, you own the artist, but you let them distribute on many, 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 many platforms, well, then it's incumbent upon you to make it an entrepreneurial type of thing for the artists themselves.
Well, I think the learning there is too, if you want to talk about the marketing side, is you have more of these brands that are picking up, like HubSpot, right? You're picking up all these things. The learning is that you don't say you have to be just on our website or just on our property, or we're gonna put you behind a gate or something like that. That's not what you want. That's not this model. This model is that you're going to use it as a promotional tool for your ads.
That's right.
More than anything else. And you want them to expand the reach. You want them to figure out TikTok and YouTube and Reels and the whole thing so that they can grow, and then you can get your message out to more people. So it's a numbers game. It's not an exclusivity deal on the market.
Well, it'll be interesting because to me, it will be interesting to see if we start to see targeted ads by platform, right? I mean, in other words, there are in other words, in the media kit for Joe Rogan or the media kit for whatever podcast, this sort of works with, where there are ads that are inserted only for podcasts on Apple. And then there are ads that are inserted only for podcasts on Spotify, or there are ads that are inserted only for, basically based on your player, you get particular ads, which could be segmented by audience and segmented by, region, all kinds of things, which would play into a much more targeted advertising or media buy. But, I don't know enough about the capabilities of them to do that to really know.
I'm if it's not already possible, it will be shortly.
I'm sure.
I think you can already do it.
Yeah,
I'm not an expert on that
I would be
side.
surprised if you couldn't. Yeah.
I don't know. This is the most we've ever talked about Joe Rogan in one episode, and I already
thank God.
feel icky.
Let's hope it's not.
I need
time.
a shower.
Well, speaking of shower, and speaking of advertising, and speaking of revenue models, why don't we go ahead?
Oh,
yeah. Let's pay a couple of bills, shall we?
Let's do that.
Alley-oops don't happen without team chemistry, and your leads go nowhere if you aren't on the same page with sales. Yeah, I get it. And HubSpot, they get it too. That's why they created Sales Hub. It's an all-in-one platform built with all the tools you need for your team's success. Smarter prospecting? Check. Faster revenue? Yep. Scales with you? Yeah, it sure does. You ready to help your sales team reach an all-star selling status? Head to HubSpot.com/sales to try Sales Hub for free. Want a new podcast for your 2024 listening? Well, we can make that happen. In fact, why don't you try Make It Happen Monday, hosted by John Barrows. It's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. Make It Happen Monday offers actionable sales tips to close more business and interviews industry leaders. Host John Barrows includes his insight as a leading B2B sales trainer and founder of J. Barrows Consulting. One recent episode I loved featured Jason Tan, a B2B expert in AI and the founder of Engage AI. Check it out. Make It Happen Monday, wherever you get your favorite pods. Are you looking to create a show? Kind of like the one you're watching or listening to right now? How meta. Well, Joe and I love StreamYard, and with StreamYard, you can multi-stream to your social media platforms, host a weekly show with special guests, create webinars, record podcasts with local recordings, create videos, and so much more. Joe and I have been using StreamYard for This Old Marketing's YouTube channel, as well as live streaming to LinkedIn. We never knew how easy this could be. Just go to StreamYard.com/thetilt and receive a lifetime discount.
That's lovely.
Oh, that is
That's
lovely. You know what? It's funny because in that little segment, you give a lot of love to StreamYard because you say Joe and I are doing this and Joe and I are doing that. From my production, it's probably cut 45 minutes off my time to produce. Because I don't have to insert the ads afterward, and we can do them in line and the video and the whole thing. It's just
Well, here's the thing. When we first started with StreamYard. And by the way, this is just us yapping. This is not an ad. This isn't the continuation of the ad. But I was like a little unsure about it. Like, I was like, because it does make you do things in a very particular way. But now after that learning curve, it's my favorite. It's my favorite of the platforms for sure.
Well, I mean, we have a new background this week. It took us 2 seconds to do that. It's like we throw up any questions from the audience and all. I mean, it's for us, it works really well. I mean, I'm under the assumption that it would work even better if we were a show that took guests. But we don't.
Yes, much to the dismay of the 14 emails I got this week from PR companies.
I just wish they would.
Why their CEO would be great.
This is what I want. I want to hear. Look, I know you don't take guests yet, but if you do, would you consider? Just do that.
I would.
Then
totally
I know that you at least listen to the show.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really ridiculous.
That's right. That's right.
What else we got this week?
All right, we got some fun, interesting news. I don't know how fun it is, but it's interesting nonetheless. From Meta this week, fresh on the heels of their.
Did you see that blowout quarter?
Holy smokers. Yeah,
They're
they
up like
just
20%.
crushed it.
That stock is like 460 now.
I'm such an idiot. God, am
Oh,
I an idiot?
I told you. I bought in at like $67 or something.
Did you
like
really?
That. Oh my God. Right when it hit the bottom because all that metaverse stuff was hitting.
Yeah.
But it's not their core business. It's like,
no.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, they are back in a big way, doing a big buyout, stock buyback and all of that. Not doing so good on the PR and comms, though, with laying off a bunch of people as they do the stock buyback. Not really the best look. But anyway, this isn't about either of those things. This is about two news stories that broke this week about Meta. The first is that they're going to start labeling AI images across Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. This coming to us courtesy of Search Engine Journal. Where the highlights are that Meta will label AI-generated images in the coming months, and it is intended to help people identify synthetic content, and they will use various techniques, says Search Engine Journal, like watermarks and metadata. And it announced that it'll start doing this with images created by AI across all of their platforms in the coming months, which will be really interesting. At the same time, they announced something that is now sort of coming to pass a little bit ago, and this comes to us courtesy of TechCrunch, and we can talk about both things really, which is the recent surprise announcement that Meta will soon be shutting off its Facebook Groups API, basically meaning that if you run a Facebook group and you currently are an agency or whatever, and you use one of the tools to actually post up messages or post up the things within that Facebook group, you will no longer be able to do that. That is causing all kinds of problems for those who run multiple Facebook groups and multiple content programs on Facebook. And I guess the whole source of it was, at one point, there was a feature that allowed you to sort of target one individual user in that Facebook group, like, hey, you shouldn't have posted that, or hey, we're going to ban you, or whatever. And now they're going to make that feature available through another avenue and then shut off the entire feature. So what do you think about these two things in general? I mean, does this have anything to do with they're sort of trying to bury this news in all the good news, or is this sort of news about nothing, or what's your take?
I believe that this is preparation for the end times, and when I say the end times, I mean the election.
Okay.
The election
interesting.
coming.
All right.
I believe this is first of all, this is a moment in time. In a year from now, none of this is going to be possible.
That's right.
And also, when you're talking about human content versus AI or computer content, there is no just human content created anymore. There's nobody, right? There's nobody on an easel.
Right.
You're just you got watercolor. You're not Monet. This is not Van Gogh anymore. Everything is computer assisted today. Okay, now it's even more computer assisted and more and more and more. And every day it's more and more. I think this is a moment in time that a year from now, 2 years from now, would be almost silly. But they're getting ahead of the storm. And that storm is going to be the deep fakes that we're already seeing. What was that news that came out? Was it in South Korea about somebody being duped by a deep fake? It's getting incredibly difficult to figure out what's real and what's not. So again, back if you listen to the last episode about buying your plot of land in Wyoming, this might be a good time to consider that type of move. Yeah, so I think this is a PR move, and I think it's a great PR move for them to say we're on it, because when it goes down and they can't figure out how to stop this thing, they're going to say, we tried, we're doing all the things. See 6 months ago we came out, we're actually doing all the things and whatever. So that's I think the core thing. The developer news that's out, I think, is tragic, and we all knew that was coming, and we didn't know when. And if you're building your business off the backs of one of these platforms,
something rented land, right? Yeah, exactly.
I feel horrible. I've already read some of the horror stories about these businesses that are going under if this thing actually happens.
Especially agencies that have been hired to run, there are agencies out there that run 10, 20, 30, 40 Facebook groups with their staff, for companies or for, private groups or for cities or for, all kinds, think about all kinds of groups out there that aren't just marketing, teams sort of managing their customer community or whatever, but but basically, like neighborhoods and cities and all those kinds of things where there are agencies that are hired to help do that. And this is going to be really hard for them.
And by the way, this happened before Twitter. I mean,
Yeah.
is a recent example of them shutting off their API access and developer access. So this should not. Now, I don't want to come off like I don't have a heart. This is horrible, horrible, horrible stuff, but we need to program ourselves as marketers and creators to expect the platforms to continue to take away anything you have as a creator, as an agency, and anything that you had where you feel like now I've got an advantage. The next day it will be gone. They will take it away from you, your subscribers, your access, the things you can say and do. And I mean, it just is. It's been that way for 20 years. It'll continue to be that way.
And the funny thing is, it inevitably is the feature that you would normally rationalize and go, they would never take that away. Yeah. They would never do that. That would be in their worst interest to do that, right? And well, sure. I mean, this is like, why would you ever expect them to take this away from Facebook groups, right? And I'm sure they have their reasons. I'm sure they have sort of basically they, I'm guessing is because they want you spending more time in the platform itself.
It's about something called money.
Yeah.
Or revenue, however you want. This move, whatever they're doing, is driving more revenue to Facebook because they've by the way, the fact that Facebook is now doing a dividend.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it's funny.
But so what happened with the whole losing billions of dollars in the metaverse thing was Zuckerberg, and got the group together with the board, and they say, okay, we are going to create the most profitable company that's ever existed. And they're doing it right now. They just turned that switch and they said, we're going to stop investing over here. We're going to just put that on. That's all going to be a profits. They have so many profits. They didn't know what to do with them all. So they have to give some back to shareholders. Yeah. That's how horrible it is.
Yeah. That's how bad things are right now.
That's how bad it is for poor Mark Zuckerberg, who added, by the way, $28 billion in value to his personal coffers.
Yeah. So. And all he had to do was stand up in front of Congress and turn around and go, sorry to all those parents. Sorry. Really sorry.
It's interesting. They were talking about this on Pivot. Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway talked about how he could be one of the greatest CEO, like execution operation people ever. And as much as you hate to admit it, they might be right.
Maybe.
To take it from especially from founder to we haven't seen this before. What they're doing, it's really unbelievable. Off of no product, off of other people's information.
Understood.
They were able to do this. There's no media company in the history of media companies that have done this.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, it very much troubles me to say that and admit that, but it's probably true. I mean, I just look at others as more, I guess, aspirational as a leader than he.
Well, no, and that's not what we're not.
I know.
We're not talking about what Zuckerberg stands for,
right?
Because Zuckerberg in 20 years might go down as one of the worst people that have ever lived.
That's right.
Because of the things that Facebook has done to individuals, kids, mental health. It's not a good thing. But just from an operational company, profitable company, it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. All right. It is now time for our new segment. A new segment here on This Old Marketing. See, you're getting all sorts of new stuff.
This is I don't even know what it is. What is going on here? What is this new segment you speak of?
This new segment that we're going to do each and every week. We're going to call it until we feel like stopping, and then of course we'll just stop doing it. You won't even notice. It's called Hits and Misses. And so what we want to do each week is to pick an example, a real life working example, either in the recent news or sort of, maybe even a little bit back, but someone who really hit with marketing, right? And success, when we want to call it out, what a great hit it is, or like the Pac-Man sort of dying. We should have like a little sound effect of Pac-Man dying. Totally missed the boat.
We can
Totally.
add sound
Yeah.
effects to this thing. I
right.
don't. I mean, I have Robert Riggs' beautiful voice that are one of our listeners.
Yeah,
We could add. We could do something like that. I don't know.
No.
We could.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. What do you
know
want to
that
listen to? I mean, I can do all kinds of stuff. How about this? Is this a hit or a miss? Meantime, as Jonathan came behind the shed, interesting things started to happen. Sorry.
All right.
That was probably
that's our first miss. That's our first miss. Would you like to go
at the 40-minute mark? Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to go first?
I probably shouldn't, but I will because why not? So I have my very quick hit.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people realize it. Spotify opened up audiobooks just a few months ago, and they already have 11% of the market. I don't think people are paying attention to that. Finally, a formidable challenge to Amazon's Audible. So I just think that everyone needs to be aware that there's another player in town. That's my quick hit. Now now I have a hit and a miss. And I've got it's a show and tell. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, go to our This Old Marketing and you can see
how we're doing this, folks.
It's like, can you see this? Here. See that?
There you go.
It's
a little bit of a reflection there with your there you go.
Hold on. There you go. See that?
Oh no, dude. Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is
Billy, you're gonna bring Grant Cardone to the party. Is that what you're doing? Oh God, I can't wait to hear this. Oh shit.
So I received this 10X World from Grant Cardone in the post office.
Yeah.
So I have a hit and I told you I have a hit and a miss.
Okay.
So first of all, Mr. Cardone really likes himself because
you think a little.
His picture is in here almost every page, but this is a print publication. I received it actually through the post, and kudos to the marketing people there for putting a custom publication out and talking about I didn't even know all the things that they had going on with this. They've got events and they've got the whatever the master classes, and they got the cruise ship. They got all kinds of stuff. So So first of all, for 100% deliverability and actually looking at the print medium and using the post, phenomenal hit.
Yeah.
The miss is this is
everything else. Everything else.
Okay, this cost a lot of money to do. This is a very, very glossy. I would have gone with a matte cover, Grant, by the way. The gloss is just way too much on the cover. But
certainly doesn't show well on TV. Yeah.
The problem with this is it's all promotional content. And you just did a glorified brochure, and I believe a big waste of money. You're
surprised that Grant Cardone did a glorified brochure?
Well, yeah, honestly, yes.
Okay.
Grant Cardone is not a stupid marketer. Grant Cardone, 10X, the book, he's done a lot of amazing things. I think he knows marketing. He understands what works. And maybe, by the way, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I believe that if you're going to go with the print medium, this type of model, you don't just do the one big flash, big marketing campaign thing. You actually say, oh, look, I'm going to target this 10X publication. It could be super helpful, amazing information. How do I take this 10X concept and use it in my business, in my life, with my philanthropic goals, whatever the case is? There's lots of things that the 10X model can do. Why do I just have to learn about the 10 products? So I think that was the miss, to say, let's not do that. Let's focus on maybe a quarterly editorial calendar, get this out on a regular basis. And what you want to do then is measure it and figure out, okay, those people that received this publication, did they, after 2 issues, 3 issues, 4 issues, 5 issues, do we see a behavior change? It's very measurable. You can measure these things in print today. So that's what I would have liked to see. So I love the fact that they went to this direction with print. And I did not fall in love, because I did feel a little bit like, another promotion. Another promotion. And I felt that there was a miss there.
All right. Well, yeah.
There you go.
Grant Cardone and Joe Rogan in one episode. I really do need a shower now.
Hey, I mean, both of them super successful.
I
don't have to agree with them.
Look,
but we both have to take showers.
I can have both of those thoughts in my head at the same time, right? Which is,
can you?
I can.
Okay. All right. What do you have? What's
okay?
Going on?
Well, I have a hit and a miss. My hit is the new campaign from L'Oreal. If you have not seen it yet, there's a link in the show notes for sure. It is absolutely spectacular. So for weeks, they have been doing this with little teaser videos, ads through social media, through all one thing about this new cream. It's a L'Oreal, so it's a moisturizing cream, and it's called CeraVe is the new product, and they've been leading up. It's going really kind of viral, and it's been kind of building, because what they've done is they created this campaign where Michael Cera, who you know from Superbad
Sure.
and from all of the Judd Apatow movies and all of that, Michael Cera has been on social media claiming that CeraVe is his product, right? His creation. And they are now capping it off with a Super Bowl commercial that sort of just, you have to go watch it. You have to, the commercial itself is absolutely spectacular.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to do it.
So good. And it just shows you that taking a long-term sort of, right, basically committing to the bit is so good. And for a brand like L'Oreal, who is not known for this kind of awkward cringe humor sort of thing, to do this, it was way outside the box for them. So kudos to them. A big hit, right?
Awesome. I can't wait to see the video.
Yeah, it's fun. If you have to sort of look at it through that lens of a Judd Apatow movie, but you especially will find it very, very fun. It's so good.
Great.
It's so good. I predict it will be one of the big hits out of the Super Bowl. The second one is my big miss. And it is basically, and this is not a political statement, it is purely about marketing and communications, is the Republicans and their hot takes on what's going on with Taylor Swift right now. This is not going to end well for them. And this is picking a fight where they should not have picked a fight. This is trying to create an issue where there is no issue. So the whole sort of, she's a CIA plant, she's a government, shill, for that whole thing that is being repeated ad nauseum from Fox News to Vivek Ramaswamy to basically, I guess, sort of your standard Republican mouthpieces. It's just a bad look. It's just bad optics. And I don't care who you are politically, where you sit on the political fence. It's just a bad, it's a total communications miss. And I don't know who's responsible for it, because there's clearly a focused strategy behind it. There are people out there with messaging architectures and message points, and they're all saying the same words and all of that. So it's clearly an organized idea. It's not just something that is being just sort of improvised by people. So sure. It's just a total miss. And so I predict very quickly that this will be bad for all of them.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and look, there's no reason for a lot of this to happen, but the usual go-to topics that you talk about during this time coming up to election would be the economy, stock market on the Republican side. Yeah, economy is in shambles. Stock market needs to be better.
Immigration,
those are gone, because the economy is rocking and rolling right now. At all stats, and the stock market's at an all-time high. So what Mr. Trump and some other people had, they don't have that as ammunition. So that's when you get to immigration. It's all going that direction. And then all the other crazy stuff that you hear. I think it's because they're filling that vacuum, because you don't have these other topic areas to talk about. You can't, because they can't win on them. So not that I'm a political pundit. That's just my...
No, it's not even, I don't care about the politics of it. It's just from a marketer and a communications and a content creator standpoint, it's just stupid. It's not even, it's not even that it's just wrong. First of all, it's that it's just dumb. That's the thing. It's just dumb.
Well, I would like to agree with you on that, but I don't know if it is, because we'll find out.
Yeah.
We don't. I don't know. I mean, I've seen
I think it is.
crazier stuff happen before. So
I-
maybe somebody knows something, and this
Well-
is good. This is the long-term effort's going to work. I don't know.
As I posted on Threads, there are only to paraphrase my favorite movie, Princess Bride. There are only two things that you shouldn't do. One is to start a land war in Asia, and the second, and only lesser well known, is never mess with Swifties when death is on the line.
It was Sicilians.
Yeah.
Sicilians. That's it's not
Yeah.
Swifties.
Swifties. Yeah. No, it's Swifties. Don't mess with Swifties.
When death is on the line.
Yeah.
No, that's a
All
great
right.
movie.
Well, that's
I have
our
to
hits
watch
and
that
misses
again.
for this week.
Da-da-da-da.
Hope you
Yep.
enjoyed that.
we'll
Let
get
us know.
theme
Won't
music.
you give us, go comment on the YouTube page, go give us a review. Let us know what you think about the hits or misses.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Go to the YouTube page and say
Yeah.
in or out with hits or misses. Just
Yeah,
really
okay.
quick. Either in or out. Comment on this episode on This Old
Okay.
Marketing. We want to hear from you.
There you go. All right. Now it is time for the classic favorite part of the show, the Rants and Raves, where Joe and I go off on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave about a topic that makes us feel like, we're, I don't know, what makes us feel like we won a Grammy, we didn't win a Grammy. Did you watch the Grammys?
I did watch the Grammys. It's so difficult for me to watch commercials.
Yeah,
they
it's
were
tough.
excruciatingly long. I mean, I know that there's a lot of things that have to happen between segments on the Grammy, so I get the time, but it's very difficult. I didn't understand why Jay-Z had to come up and fight for Beyonce, who doesn't need fighting for.
Really? You don't understand that? you know?
No, I don't. I mean, is it whatever? I'm not. I haven't been following it like that, but I
haven't either. But I can already tell you that that's why, right? I mean, but did you see Miley Cyrus's performance? Oh,
yes,
I love that Miley won.
She's
so
fantastic.
great.
They're all I mean,
yeah.
So I didn't, and maybe again, I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I didn't understand the whole Jay-Z thing, and I didn't know what Travis Scott was doing during his performance. Like I actually had talked to my youngest. I'm like, is that what Travis is that? And he was telling me that Travis Scott goes on tour sometimes and he will do the same song over and over again. And he'll do like a 20 or 30-minute segment on one song just to do it.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know these things.
So, am I going first or are you going first on this Rants and Raves thing?
I'll go first.
Okay,
I'll
you
go
do
first. So speaking of the Grammys, Billy Joel performed.
Of course he did.
On the Grammys. He has a new song, and they did a little clip before he went on and talked about, why after 30 years did Billy Joel get back and write a song. So for those of you that don't know Billy Joel, I mean, one of the most prolific songwriters in the history of rock and roll, hadn't written a song for over 30 years, finally comes out with a song. It's called Turn the Lights Back On. It's very Billy Joel. It's like it's very much a Billy Joel song, I think. But I was going through this thing that they were doing and they talked about, okay, why did he start writing again? And in the backstory is really interesting, where he met with, I'm trying to get the name of it. Is it Freddie Wexler?
Yeah.
Freddie Wexler, they were going to get a meet. Freddie Wexler was a big fan, songwriter, Grammy nominated, wanted a meeting with Billy, got Billy thought it was a 10-minute meeting. This meeting turns into 2.5 hours. They become friends. Freddie starts to talk to Billy about getting the songwriting going again. And Billy said, I don't want to write songs anymore. I don't like the process. It makes me unhappy. I'm not going to do it. Well, Freddie kind of worked with Billy over the last couple of years. Billy found the joy again, and now he's writing again. And so it's wonderful that Billy Joel's writing music again. If that's what he wants to do, love it. I'm all for it. But the rave in all this is the fact that I don't know if content creators realize that if you're a podcaster, you need to find time to talk with and commune with and network with other podcasters,
other creators.
Creators. If you're a blogger, same thing. If you're a YouTuber, that's so important, because I know you and I deal with this. Like when we're off for a while and we don't get to talk creatively with each other or with other people, you lose a little bit.
Yeah.
and you lose a little, you forget a little bit why you're doing the thing. So that's the learning that I got, is make sure you spend time as a creator with other creators. And whether you go to events like CEX or Content Marketing World or whatever, you do those types of things, whether it's more part of a master class, whether it's informally, you're calling out and say, hey, every month, can we talk on the phone, or can we get together for coffee, or whatever you do. I think you have to create it as part of your strategic plan as a content creator, to involve yourself in other people's creative lives, and you will be a better creator for it. So that's what I learned from the Billy Joel
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's honestly, it's one of the reasons I love CEX so much, right? Because I learn, it's one event that I get to go to where I learn more than I teach, right? And so it's great to be able to see what other people are doing and what's working and what's not working, and get inspired, and and really just soak it all in. So yeah, it's great. It's great advice.
So do you like the new Billy Joel song?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not. I was not a fan. And mostly because you're right, it's a very Billy Joel song, but I think it's overproduced. I think it should have just been, the song very much reminds me of one of the older, off of one of the older albums, like pre-80s albums, where he got
Like
really
Songs
produced
in
with
the Attic or
horns and
something?
drums and all that kind of stuff. It reminds me of sort of the old classic, smoky piano bar Billy Joel. But then they bring in all the strings, and they bring in the drums, and they bring in all this.
I think it was fan service. I think it really was.
Maybe later fan service or younger fan service, but for those of us who love the old classic sort of angry Billy Joel, it felt very much like, to me, like, I mean, the words are great. And the song, I actually liked the song. I just didn't like the production of it.
Well, I mean, you're out in LA. I mean, he probably produced it in LA with Freddie. Well, you should do something about this.
I could call him and just say, hey,
people.
Yo, Billy.
I mean, you produced the song for this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I could remix it. There are tools that can do that now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, what do you got? All
right. I got a quick rant, I guess it is because so this weekend is the Super Bowl. I don't know if you've heard it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, should not be called the Super Bowl anymore. It should just be called like Football Con or something like that. I mean, it's a full-on marketing conference.
Sports
now, right?
ball.
I mean, it's like sports con.
Big sports ball.
It's just, I mean, it is crazy how much stuff there is. I mean, there's an expo hall, there are vendors, there are physical experiences where you can go compete. There's meet and greets. It's everything about literally
it's like a CES. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a Comic-Con.
Sure.
So, but with two teams, and I get off on a rant about the teams, but that's what it is now. But here's the thing: the ads. So $7 million for a 30-second spot this year. That's $230,000 per second if you're counting at home. For those of us that are mere mortals, we probably have an entire year's budget that is maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds of Super Bowl ad time. So we don't even think about it, right? Most marketers, and especially B2B marketers, they don't even think about it. They can't even think about.
Would never be an option.
That idea. Yeah. It just wouldn't be. They can't even conceive of what goes into that, because, by the way, that doesn't even account all the production and the hiring of movie stars and television stars to be in your ad and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be great. There's going to be 40 plus brands debuting commercials this year. And what it reminds me of, and I think it's just it was a spur. It was sort of like a spur in my side when I saw the articles about what's going on in B2C. And just about every year we do something on the Super Bowl ads, like here's how much you could actually get a media company for what you spend on a Super Bowl commercial. You could actually, we talk a lot about that. But more importantly to me is thinking about B2B. What I want to challenge us all is, where are the big ideas in B2B anymore? Like, they just don't happen. We have become so, in our shells about the incremental, and I don't know if this is especially since 2020, or, if 2020 was just a trigger, or if there was, this was a trend that was already happening in 2018, 2019, but it's like, think back, when was the last big breakthrough, huge, big idea, risky idea that you've seen in B2B marketing? Like literally something that made mainstream news or made so much news that you go, holy smokers, we have to talk about that, right? And it's just not there anymore, right? And so I went back and I started to look. It's like, when was, when were these things? Like, remember the epic splits that Van Damme did with the trucks, right?
Volvo trucks.
So yeah, that was, almost 10 years ago now, right?
Oh my God.
The end of software campaign, Salesforce's end of software at the turn of the century, right? 2001, 2002, where they literally had protests outside the Siebel conference and they had protests outside Oracle. They were talking about how you can't stop cloud. And it was this huge campaign that totally made headlines, totally made sort of people think about cloud computing in a different way, thinking of inbound marketing. When was the last time we had something as big as inbound marketing sort of take over the entire conversation in marketing and technology and all those kinds of things? And it's like, today it feels like most B2B, almost all of B2B marketing is this monotony of data-driven average, right? It's like, yes, there are podcasts, yes, there are videos, but they're all sort of like, interview your customers, and hey, it's incrementally better, and hey, we're getting a little bit more SEO out of this, and hey, we got a few more downloads out of this, and yes, this white paper is out there and this thought leadership is out there, but it's basically saying everything else everybody else is saying, just maybe in a slightly more designed or packaged way. And yeah, we've got a new show and a new podcast, but it's basically saying the same things that we've all said. And it just seems like we've gotten to the point in B2B where we got the memo. We all got the memo to know our audience better, right? So it's like, know what your audience wants, know what your audience needs, understand your audience needs, do your persona work, do all that stuff. But we've got to the point where we understand that so well that we've forgotten how to surprise them. We've forgotten how to sort of just bring something that totally is, orthogonal to what it is we do on a day-to-day basis. It's what I love so much about the L'Oreal commercial, right? It's such a weird idea for them. I mean, to bring in Michael Cera as the creator of this beauty cream, they would have normally had some very big, influencer person, beautiful influencer woman come in and do something really, sort of normal, but something you would expect. This is so unexpected, so wonderfully surprising. And Super Bowl commercials are like that, right? We see B2C all do this all the time, make these big bets. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't, right? Sometimes they fall flat on their face, sometimes they're big risks. And we just I don't see big risks in B2B marketing anymore, big creative risks. And to paraphrase my mentor, James T. Kirk, risk is our business. Risk is our business in marketing, and we should be taking some bigger risks. So that's my rant.
Well, I don't disagree with you at all. But if I was going to play devil's advocate, I would say we may not be aware of the risk being taken if they're going to a target audience and like they don't make a marketing award out of it, or like might not know.
I don't disagree that there are. Look, there are creative things happening, right? I can see creative B2B campaigns happening where I'm not the target market, right? I can see that, but I'm talking about the taking it beyond just the few hundred or the few thousand people that might go, that's cute and neat and interesting and different, right? I'm really talking about something bigger, right, in B2B. And typically, I fully admit that's going to be probably a larger company that's going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
It's probably not a startup, but like, where is the AI company? Like, where are some of these AI startups doing something so completely off the wall and so completely big that it makes a huge splash? Even OpenAI, right? OpenAI has got, they're printing money right now, and their marketing is blah, right? Their marketing is just blah. And hey, we can make you better. We can make you more efficient. We can make you more creative. We can make you more of this. Like, where is the creativity? Where is the creativity coming from someone like Google or someone like Salesforce or someone, where is that? And it's really disappointing that these companies are not taking any big risks.
Well, the Salesforce Matthew McConaughey thing, I never got. Like the commercial set that with the AI and Salesforce and McConaughey doing his thing. None of it makes sense to me.
I
So I
didn't
don't.
I didn't really get it either, but it's you know it was risky, I suppose, but it's like to me, if you're going to do that, right? So that's a great example. Like if you're going to do that, if you're going to bring Matthew McConaughey to it, let's do something really off the wall, right? Let's not make it a little weird where we kind of go, I don't get it. Let's make it so weird that it goes, what the hell are they doing?
I can't believe they did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see some more B2B Super Bowl commercials too.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean,
really
with B2B has become B to boring, basically.
Aw.
Yeah, told you it was ranty.
Okay.
It was ranty.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I don't think you're wrong necessarily. But then again, OpenAI, they're printing money. They don't have to do any marketing right now.
Yeah, you
have to see beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond. What do you got going on? What's
I'm working. It's I got the Super Bowl weekend, so of course I'm going to be watching a little football, watching ads, doing all the things that I usually do on Super Bowl weekend, and I'm probably cooking some food. But yeah, other than that, work. How about you?
Good. I'm taking a little vacation time.
Oh, that's right.
So our next episode will be a special episode, a blossom episode, as you always say.
Episode,
so I'm looking forward to some time off. As you know, February, I got to get into the sun, and so I will be getting some sunlight for 7 days, and then we'll be back ready to do whatever I do. Most people don't know what I do, so I'll just keep doing a bunch.
Ready to do whatever I do. That's
whatever I do.
That's the name of my new book, by the way. I'm ready to do whatever I do.
Whatever. I like that.
That's
good.
That. That's the name of a song. It's a new Billy Joel song. All right.
Overproduced, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Yes, next week we do have a special episode. The Joe is Getting Sun episode. And in the meantime, till we see you, please go check us out on YouTube. Go give us some and give us some reviews. We need some reviews. How about this? The cutest review, the sort of coolest and commentiest review, good reviews. We don't need bad reviews, but good reviews. And we'll get you on. We'll get you on the air. We'll do something. We'll do something interesting for you. So go give us a review. Go comment on YouTube. And until we see you next week, just remember, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing.